back to my YouTube channel, #Moviebae. I am Moviebae, and on this video, I'm going to be recapping and reviewing the 1996 toxic classic, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, starring Lynn Whitfield and Martin Lawrence, who also wrote and directed the film as well. But before I get too into it, though, I want y'all to drop down and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Because here at Moviebae, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television. And if that is the type of content that you like, you might as well stick around and hit the subscribe button. If you find yourself enjoying my commentary along the way, don't be afraid to give me a thumbs up and or drop a comment down below. It really helps your girl out with the channel. I'm on my road to 1K. Support black businesses, all right? Let's go ahead and get into a synopsis of this film. A fast-paced, womanizing nightclub promoter gets paid back in full when he scorns a beautiful woman with psychotic tendencies who will punish him for breaking her heart. Now, as y'all all know, this stars Lynn Whitfield, who played the hell out of this role. But let's go ahead and meet Martin Lawrence's character, Darnell. We are introduced to Darnell, who is a player. We get to meet a couple of the women that's on his roster. We have Adrian and Nikki and Gwen. Now, one is a shy girl, and he brings her out her shell. The other one has a son, so he's playing stepdad. And then one girl is very demanding, but he is quick to put her in her place. Like, baby, I am not nobody's man. You can't tie me down. But, of course, she still comes back anyways. We also find out that Darnell is a party promoter for Chocolate City, which is a local club. And he's responsible for bringing all the girls to the club. Now, I feel like you can tell a lot about a man based off of his career. Now, in my days, dating a club promoter, party promoter, that's a no-no. We look at them as, like, lames, okay? But I feel like that stigma came from the party promoters being around a lot of girls and us just kind of like, don't ever talk to a party promoter because he gonna have a lot of girls. That's his job, is to get all the girls to come to the parties. And you know he gonna knock a couple of them down. But Darnell isn't just a party promoter. He has big dreams, okay? Big dreams of becoming a club owner one day. We are then introduced to Darnell's family dynamic. So we find out that his dad has passed on. However, his mom and his sister are very much so close in his life. Matter of fact, I think he still stays with them because I never saw Darnell in his own house at all during this movie. Anyhow, Darnell is seen taking care of his mom by sliding money into her purse. But I mean, rightfully so if you're staying at her house. Anyways, we also find out that Darnell uses his mom to scare off the girls that he no longer wants to talk to. Now, she claims that, you know, she's sick and tired of doing that. However, she's still going to do it because that's her baby boy, right? She also tells him in that same breath that his ways are going to catch up to him, and there is a thin line between love and hate, Darnell. We are then introduced to his 15-year-old sister, who is a sophomore, and she has been invited to the senior prom. Of course, Darnell's big brother / father senses kick in, and he shows his overprotective side of her. Now, the irony. It's like irony, but not ironic. You know what I'm saying? Because how are you a player and a dog, and yet you want to protect your sister from the men who are just like you? This is when his sister mentions Mia. We find out that Mia is a childhood friend, even like a possible ex-lover that he probably did wrong, and she no longer pays him mind like that. But of course, down the course of the movie, we see that he still possibly has a chance with her, but she's gonna make him work for it. Last of our main characters is Brandi, okay? Now, Brandi is a wealthy boss babe, classy, non-tolerant, beautiful black female, okay? Brandi is this film's quote-unquote antagonist, but I beg to differ. One day, T, Darnell's friend, is trying to holler at Brandi, but she shoots him down. That's when Darnell interjects and tries to shoot his shot, but she shoots him down too. He invites her out to the club since she's in the neighborhood, and Brandi is quick to remind him, I don't come to the neighborhood much often. Because, period, what are you talking about? She hops in her limo and drives away as he slides the Chocolate City flyer through her window. But I don't know, y'all. I guess Darnell broke Brandi down some way, somehow, because she ends up coming to the club that night. And that is when Darnell tries to shoot his shot again, and Brandi hits him with that, I don't know what you're selling, but I'm not buying. This is him once again. This is when T bets Darnell $20 $20 that he can't hit Brandi. And then he was like, this is the type of girl you're going to have to say I love you to in order to do that. And D quickly says, nah, that's rule number 1. Never tell them you love them. But Darnell is on a mission and Brandi's out the door. So he decides to run out of the club and take down her license plate number, y'all. Can you say creepo? After Darnell finds out that Mia is going to go on a date with the Chicken King, this is when he decides to actively start pursuing Brandi. Note that he didn't even go after Brandi until the girl that he really wants, the girl that he really loves, is deciding that she's going to move on from him to someone that is more respectable and has more money. Now Darnell is starting to actively pursue Brandi. He brings flowers to her job, knocks over her lalique, and is kindly escorted out. He then shows up to a house that she's showing and surprises her with a crystal baby bird, which set him back a couple of dollars, as he liked to mention. And then this is when she asks, what kind of game are you playing? And he lets her know, well, when I was trying to be straight up and straightforward with you, you wasn't giving me the time of day. So what kind of game are you playing? This is when she stops and she thinks, it's like, dang, this dude really is putting in a lot of effort to try to get to know me, try to get my time and my attention. So Brandi decides to give him that time and attention. To the dating montage. So we have Brandi taking Darnell to museums and to business meetings, introducing him to her world. And then he takes her to the hood, okay, where she has to question, are we safe here? Introducing her to his world. Now, if you think about the different dynamics, Brandi low-key had to lower her standards to be with this man. But he made her laugh. He brought her back to, I guess, her roots in a sense. Now we have one of the dates that kind of lead to a turning point in their relationship, the horseback riding date. Now, on this date, we see that Darnell is kind of like embarrassed that he couldn't ride the horse as well as he expected to be able to ride the horse. And he makes sure to take care of him and clean him up. And then she tries to teach him how to ride a horse. Now, her mannerisms or her movements are a little bit quote-unquote sexual. So this is when Darnell decides that he's going to make a sexual advance at Brandi. Now, she backs off and says that she doesn't trust men. And then Darnell gets upset. Now, I can kind of, a little bit, understand why he was upset. Because it's like, well, we've been dating, and what do you mean you don't trust me? Like, why are you even wasting my time if you're not going to let your guard down with me? But I didn't agree at how upset he got. It's like, the nerve of you. Like, all that means is, okay, she's been hurt before. Let me take it slow. Let me take my time. Like, it's not a big deal that she didn't want to have sex in the grass at that moment. Okay, she was just letting you know it's going to take some time because I've been hurt before. So he gets upset at her and he leaves. I'm like, what? And then in the very next scene, he goes and hangs out with Mia. What? Like, when I tell y'all, Brandi is not the antagonist of this film. Darnell is. Now, we're not really sure how long or how much time has elapsed, but one day Brandi decides that she's going to go to Chocolate City and she apologizes to Darnell. She tells him, you've been really patient and it's going to pay off. And then this is when Mia walks up and he introduces Mia to Brandi, and Brandi is looking like, who the fuck is this bitch? And of course, I wouldn't have been as rude as Brandi, but in my mind, who the fuck is this bitch? You know what I'm saying? So Mia's like, okay, anyways, and walks off. This is when Darnell says, I'm done playing games with you, Brandi. Stop wasting my time. I need a real woman. And if that ain't you, just let me know. Then he leaves and goes to dance with Mia. So now Brandi is contemplating about how to keep Darnell. So Brandi decides to invite Darnell to her house that same night. Now, you can see her in the mirror, like, trying to talk herself up, pep herself up, saying, just have fun, everything's going to be okay, before he gets there. And I feel like if you got to give yourself a pep talk, bitch, you shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Now, when they're on the couch drinking wine and chopping it up, this is when Brandi tries to tell Darnell that there are things in her past, and she says that she cannot be hurt again. And he, is saying, I don't mean to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you. My intent isn't to hurt you. And then she kind of starts crying. And then she asks all these questions like, do you need me? Do you want me? And he says yes and yes. And then she says, do you love me? And he hesitates a little bit, swallows his spit, and he says, I love you. 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 And they start kissing. And then, of course, this leads to the bedroom. In the middle of them having sexual intercourse, Brandi tells Darnell, she tells him that she killed her ex-husband. And when I tell you that boy got limp, that boy, he rolled up off of her real quick, laid in the bed, pulled the covers up like he was scared, because who shares that information at that particular time? Like, girl, now, out of all the things in this movie, Brandi was wrong for that. I feel like that's something you should have told him prior to. You know what I'm saying? And she's like, you don't hate me, do you? And then she gets on top. It's like, you don't hate me, right? And starts running. And then it's like, no, I don't think he hates you right now anyways. Manipulation. He can play those games. She can play those games too. Now, after they have sexual intercourse, Brandi is asleep. Darnell sneaks out of the bed, and he calls T from her phone just to let him know that he won the bet. Back in bed, cuddling, we get this voiceover of Mia's voice in Darnell's head, and she says, I trust you to do exactly what you're going to do. And he pushes Brandi's hand off from around his neck, and it's like he's disgusted with his decisions immediately after having sex with Brandi. So the next day, he has a talk with his manager, and it's an older guy. And he lets Darnell know the older that you get, the better choices your dick makes. This is when Brandi pulls up in a limo, and Darnell looks back at the OG saying, well, my dick ain't that grown yet, hinting that he's about to make yet another bad decision. So this is when Brandi pulls out her sugar mama card, and she takes Darnell shopping. She wants him to quit his job, and she said that she'll buy him a club so they can spend all their time together. And Darnell winces back and is like, we can't spend all of our time together, can we? So she decides that she's going to give him the car for the day so he can do all the errands that he needs to do. And then he just needs to come back to her house that night for her birthday. And he didn't even know it was her birthday until her birthday. So while Darnell has the car, he sees his little sister off to prom. And then this is when his mom lets him know, since he pulled up in another lady's car, that Mia is going back to the Air Force. Now, Darnell can't have that. So he decides that he's going to go by Mia's cousin's house where she's staying in Brandi's car and attempts to get Mia to stay and not go back to the Air Force. So Mia is like, well, whose car are you in? And of course, it's one of his hoes' car. So she's about to walk away. And then that's when Darnell says, Brandi bought this shit. I don't care about none of this shit. Takes all the clothes that she bought him, throws them all out on the street. Mia started laughing and stuff because I guess that means, oh, I got his heart. Girl, shut the fuck up. Bro, I would never let a dude pull up on me in another female car knowingly. I mean, I'm pretty sure they have done that before, but I didn't know it was not their car. Matter of fact, I had an ex that did pull up on me in a bitch car, bro. I was like, bro. But I didn't care. I didn't love that nigga. Whatever. Anyways, Darnell and Mia spend the entire night together, hanging outside, eating jujubes. But most importantly, this is when Darnell tells Mia that he's ready to stop playing games and to settle down with her. He walks her back into her house, and he wants to come in for a nightcap, but Mia tells him that she's not comfortable with that yet and they should take things slow. The same thing that Brandi told him and he got upset with, when Mia said it, he understood, and they just cuddled all night. The nerve of these niggas. I can't stand, Like, it just don't make sense to me. Like, you could obviously clearly see who he cares for and who he didn't. Brandi was just a conquest to him. And that is why Darnell is the antagonist in this film. Now, remember Darnell had something to do that night. Well, it was really Brandi's birthday. And she's sitting there alone on her birthday. Out of all the days to do somebody wrong, bro, on her birthday for real. So obviously, this is Brandi's breaking point. She leaves her cake with a knife through it at the front of Mia's door. And it's like, dang, how did she know where Mia stayed? Well, because you got my car, idiot. Rude. Later that day, Darnell decides that he's going to officially break it off with Brandi. And Brandi tries to play it cool and says that's fine because she was getting bored anyways. But we all know that that's cap, because the next day, Brandi breaks into Darnell's house and she wants to make him breakfast, but I don't think she really knows how. Brandi wants to know if he wants his pancakes light, dark, or fluffy, but Darnell just wants her to get the F out. This is when he made the vital mistake of grabbing Brandi and swinging her against the wall. And she lets him know, you put your hands on the wrong one. And she walks away. And it's like, what is she about to do? I'll tell you what she about to do. She bust the windows out his car. Bust the windows out his car. Took the tires out of his car. Set the club on fire. Okay? Like, Brandi was playing no game. She also decided to take it a step further and beat herself up just to blame Darnell for domestic violence, which led to his arrest. And this is my favorite part of the whole movie, y'all. Why would you hit me, baby? You know I love you. Lynn Whitfield played crazy so well. You really thought she was crazy. This leads to Darnell getting arrested. Now, Darnell is bailed out of jail and he goes to work that night, and he had to quit Mia because Brandi threatened, if you don't dump your girlfriend, I'm going to hurt her. So now he's trying to play all nonchalant and act like, you know, that he's over Mia or whatever, but Mia knows that something is not right. So that same night, Brandi sets fire to the club and Darnell has had it. He decides that he's going to go and confront Brandi. This is when Brandi basically spills it all, how men get to just pick women like they're toys and play with them and put them back on the shelf with little to no regard of how they actually made them feel. And I was like, Brandi, preach that Brandi. Let them know, Brandi. Brandi, you know, you taking it a little step too far, but that's okay because I understand the rage, Brandi. I do. Now, this is when the writing didn't really make too much sense because somehow T and Mia find their way to Brandi's house, and then there's a whole standoff. It leads to everyone jumping out of the window, Darnell reflecting on his life in the water, and Brandi getting arrested. Darnell praying that she gets the psychological help that she needs. What about you, Darnell? What lesson did you learn from all of this, Darnell? All in all, I'm Team Brandi, okay? Brandi literally gave this man multiple warnings, okay? He hollered at her 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and she says, I'm not interested in what you're selling. What games are you playing? Then she gives him a chance and she says, I've been hurt before. I can't I have trust issues. Take your time with me. You've been patient. I appreciate it. And he just continued to feed her lie after lie after lie just for $20 in his player card. Like, come on, bro. Team Brandi all day, every day. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel, #MovieBae. Be sure y'all give me a thumbs up if you enjoy my commentary. Drop a comment down below. Team Brandi all day, every day. Am I crazy or are y'all just crazy? Let me know. If you enjoyed, be sure y'all hit the subscribe button for more content just like this. I also have a throwback review over Baby Boy where I kind of ranted a little bit, okay? Just a little bit. But thank y'all so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. It's a date.